Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. This is a water pump for my 2002 Suburban 5.3 liter engine, and I got a couple of nice metal gaskets with rubber permanently attached to them. So I'm going to show you how to put this in. I have another video that I already shot that was the diagnosis of the leaking water pump, so you can look that up. I am going to start by taking off this beauty cover, the air bridge, and what else? This fan shroud. So I'm not going to show you every single thing here. If there's anything that's particularly hard, I will show it to you. But this is basically, one bolt here, clamp, an electrical connection, this connection here, and a bunch of little odd connections and some fasteners. Right, let me show you. Fasteners like this for the fan shroud, and then there's some down below. Okay, so I'm going to just get all that stuff off. I'm not going to show you every single step on that. If you have a question, post it up in the comments. One little quick point here. This is a clamp that holds the air bridge on over here. And when I first started taking it out, this screw came out about that far, like an inch, say. If that happens to you, you are actually not loosening up the clamp. You're just backing the screw out of here. So send it back in, and then try it again and see if you can get it to loosen the clamp. See, now the clamp is loose, but before, when I first did it, the screw was just coming out this way. So there's a little tip for you. This is a throttle body cooling hose. It runs some coolant into the area of the throttle body. I'm going to try not disconnecting it. I just popped it off of its clips. It was in a few clips, and I'm just moving it out of the way. The first hose I'm going to disconnect is this top radiator hose, and I'm going to try and catch as much fluid as I can in my bucket. There won't be that much from this top hose, but when I get down to the water pump, there'll be quite a lot that comes out of the engine. But I'm on a little bit of an angle here, nose up in the driveway, so maybe I can catch most of it. I'm going to use some special, I'll show you these pliers I've got. These are the special pliers. They have a special fitting on the end for these hose clamps, and they also, once you compress them, they have a little ratchet right here, so they stay tight without you having to hold your hands on them. Now you can get these off with regular pliers too, but I really like this tool. I've used it quite a few times, and it doesn't cost very much. Once I get this, move the clamp out of the way, I'm going to take some channel locks and I'm going to twist gently on the end of the hose to break it loose from the metal fitting. Then I'll be able to pull it off. I need two hands for this. Froggy's been doing a little research on getting this fan off, the fan nut. And here's what I'm going to do. That may be the trickiest part, or the hardest part for all of you guys and gals to do. I'm going to take this whole hose off, and I'm going to take this upper shroud off so that I can get at it, and so I can film it better for you guys and gals. The thing you want to remember when you're taking this, the fan off, is to leave the serpentine belt on. You have to leave that on because it puts tension on the pulley. You need to hold the pulley before you turn the nut. So let me get these two pieces off, and I'll get back to you. Okay, the hose is off. The shroud has 4 little plastic pop rivets on the bottom and 2 bolts on the top. There's the hose, and I caught a bunch of coolant. Well, there's your fasteners. There's the shroud. Thank you, Chevy GM. That's a nice, nice design. So now we can really see what we're working on here. Okay, let me give it a little bit of thought, and then we'll get going. Okay, here's how Froggy got it loose. It's loose now. Yep, it's coming right off. This is the tensioner. One way to do it, if you have two people, is to have somebody put a little extra tension on the tensioner, like that, 15 millimeter. That tightens up the grip of the belt on the pulley. You're trying to stop the pulley from spinning as you turn the nut down there. But I've only got myself. I don't have a helper today. So what I did was I took, and this is the tool I used, a big crescent wrench. Just open it up as wide as you need. It's a 15-inch crescent wrench. What I did was I got down on the nut. I left the tensioner just the way it is because I didn't have a second person. The second person would have made it easier. And they don't. It's not hard. You don't have to pull on it real hard. And then I took my BFH, which is about a 2-pound sledge, and I kind of tapped it about as hard as I could, you know, because you can't really swing a 2-pounder that fast. But I kept tapping, 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 and you know, not well. Let me take that back. More than tapping, I was hitting it as hard as I could. But it's, what I'm saying is it's not that hard because you can't take the hammer way up over your head and swing it. You just have to move, you know, swing it a couple of feet. You get about, you know, a foot or 2 feet of swing, and then you hit the wrench. But I did that basically, I'm getting a little long-winded here, about 10 times, and it came loose. So it's kind of like using an impact tool. Here, let me switch hands here, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. I'm not going to hit it because the wrench will just fall down. But like that. Just hitting, hitting, hitting. And yes, the pulley will spin, but each hit, you're loosening up a little bit. And about 10 of those, and I got it loose. I also put a little bit of PB Blaster down on the nut. You want to put it on the side towards the engine. The nut. I'll show you when I take it off. Well, let me take it off first. And I can just show you me spinning it off. The nut is moving, but because the fan has a clutch on it, you know, it's spinning around on its clutch mechanism also, but it's coming off. You can see that little shiny thread starting to show there, right? But be careful you don't poke a hole in your radiator. This is going to be heavy when it comes off. I'm going to switch back to 2. Whoa, there it goes. Anyway, you put the PB Blaster on this end, in there. You know, this end right here. It doesn't do any good to put it on that other end, so put it on that end there. And now we got our fan off. Okay, one thing I noticed here, before I go any further, is I've got the wrong belt for the AC. I wanted to replace the AC belt because it's got a lot of cracks in it. So I'm going to have to make a trip to the local Pep Boys or Napa, wherever I can find the belt. And what I'm going to do, though, finding the right belt, it's crazy. When I was working on the Ford Explorer and trying to get the squeak out of the belt, I had to put on like 4 different belts before I found the right length. So I'm going to take this belt off. I'm going to take the SERP belt off first. I'm going to reuse that, clean it up, make sure it doesn't have any coolant on it. And then I'm going to take the AC belt with me so that I can, you know, measure it and make sure I get the right one. So, let me get the SERP belt off and the AC belt off, and then I think I'll go make a trip. It's still late morning here, and see if I can get that AC belt before I proceed. Everything else looks like it should come apart pretty good, I think. Knock on wood. Starting to transfer parts from the this is the tensioner from the old water pump, where it was mounted on the old water pump, to the new one. This one appears to go on okay. I'll show you where it came off. There, and there. Now the water pump is designed differently, so I'm crossing my fingers that this is going to bolt on. You need a new thermostat. This old thermostat will not transfer, and also you probably wouldn't want to use the old thermostat because they do wear out. So get those 3 hoses to come off, and then just the main bolts that hold the water pump on. I might take this idler off just to give myself a little room. Okay, guys and gals, let me get you caught up here. I took off all the 3 hoses over here. One was where the thermostat attaches. I took the old thermostat off there so I could get those hoses. Those are heater hoses. Caught some coolant down below. And I already told you I've got the AC belt out. I'm going to have to go to a parts store. The AC belt that I ordered is the wrong one. Either I ordered the wrong part or they had the wrong part listed on the computer, and I would say there's about a 50-50 chance on that. Maybe 80% that they had the wrong part on the computer, because I don't usually make mistakes. But anyway, I got that little idler off there to give me more space. The water pump itself is held on by 3 bolts on that side, 3 bolts on that side. It's got an inlet and an outlet. It's got 2 gaskets, and that's what's next. So I'm going to do that, then I'm going to take a little lunch break. Now let me get it off for you. Okay, the old pump is out. I'm looking at the bolts. The 2 that were up the highest, like up here and up here, look good. The other 4 definitely look like coolant was leaking past the gaskets. And I'm not sure which gaskets. They all look pretty bad. But leaking past the gaskets, so I've got to clean those up, and I have to use those over again. There's no sealant on the threads of any of them, so that means none of these go through the block to the water jacket. And this is different on the back here. The new one, I'll show it to you. Different design. Well, there's a different design on the back side, which is fine, I guess. All the inlets and outlets appear good and line up correctly. So I'm going to take a break right now, and I'm going to try and figure out how I am going to get that AC belt, since I blocked my other car in with the Suburban. So I might be able to roll it down the driveway a little bit and get this one out of the garage. We'll see. Froggy will figure something out. I'll see you in half an hour, 45 minutes. A little extra bit of information for you. Remember, this is a 2002 Suburban 5.3 liter motor, and here's a magnet, iron block, aluminum head. Iron block, aluminum head. Just thought I'd show you that. Froggy out. Here's a picture of the passenger side gasket area on the iron block that I've cleaned. You can kind of see a light, maybe a light color there. I think that's where the gasket's going to seat. So that's cleaned, and I use my finger rather than anything else to tell if I've got all the old gasket material off. Now this is the other side that I haven't cleaned yet. just to show you the difference. I got to clean that up so it looks as good as this. Now, this is an iron block, so you can scrub it pretty good. The way I've been doing it, I'll show you. First I used a good putty knife, and then I used green scrubbing material, and then I went to a razor blade. So it's like 3 steps. There's also, I think you can get that green scrubbing material that will attach to a drill, and you could use a drill on it. Now, if it was aluminum block, I wouldn't do that, but an iron block, I think that's okay. I think I'm going to use a little RTV sealant in addition to the gaskets. Okie dokie, that's as good as it gets. I used some 150 sandpaper with my hand. Remember, this is an iron block. I don't think I would have done that in an aluminum block. But I've got pretty shiny metal all the way around. There's some little discoloration, but that's as clean as Froggy can get it. Yeah, it's discoloration, but it's not, it's smooth to my finger. I know it looks like it's smooth. So I'm going to pull all those rags out of there, and I'm going to prepare the new gaskets, which are over here. Leaning into that big truck engine bed. Alright, these are the new gaskets, and I think I'm going to put some RTV on there. Here's a picture of the new gaskets, how they're going to sit on there. I don't think there's an inside outside or anything like that. Looks like they're aluminum with a rubber. Okay, we got it in, all 6 bolts. I went on the internet and I looked for a torque spec, and the lowest one I got was 22, and got one that was 27. 27, I don't think so. This is my torque wrench, so you can see, you know, I've got a lot of leverage, I've got adjustments, but I'm always a little bit suspect about over tightening small bolts. Those are 10 millimeters. So I went to 20 and called it good. It seemed plenty tight to me, and you can do what you want to do, but I don't think it's going anywhere, and I've got it at 20. So now we're going to start putting stuff back. I may not show you every single thing. I want to get this done, and putting it back is the same as taking it apart, which I did show you step by step. Let's get that AC belt on, and then we'll start with the heater hoses, I think. Okay, let me get you caught up here. I put the 2 hoses on, 3 hoses actually. They went on kind of easy. I hope those clamps are clamping down good, otherwise I might have a little bit of leak there. The hoses got 100,000 miles on them, so if I get any little leaks there, then I might be replacing some hoses, but we'll see. AC belt's on. I tightened this up. I used 30 pounds and 30 pounds on this idler here. I'm not sure if that's the exact torque spec. That's what Froggy's using. You can look up the torque spec if you'd like to, and put it in my comments. I'd love to have somebody look that up, and make sure you give a good source for it, because sometimes these torque specs are a few pounds up or a few pounds down. So anyway, that's where we are right now, and let me think for a second what's next. He's going to have to speed it up a little. My battery is getting low on my camera. And this is the go back together anyway. So serpentine belt is on. There's a chart here. Make sure you follow the chart for your engine. Fan is back on. I just put the serp belt on, and then I put my big wrench on the fan, and I gave it a couple of 3 taps with my big hammer. That should be good. The fan tightens itself up as it spins. It won't come off. So now I think we can put this top shroud on, and then start, and then the top hose. Let's do that. Top shroud, top hose. Okay. We got our shroud on. We got our top hose on. Remember this throttle body coolant hose. Clip that in there. Clip it in over here. We had just put that off to the side. And I'm just looking around now, thinking maybe the air bridge, and we're pretty close to done. We're going to put some coolant back in there. The coolant that I have is good, fresh stuff. And start it up and see if there's any leaks. And hopefully this will purge itself as far as getting air in there. The engine block is pretty full. The radiator is pretty full. I'm going to fill up the overflow bottle. And I'm on an angle. Turn on the heater, and we'll see what happens. Watch your temperature. If it did look like it was there was a bubble stuck in there or something, and your temperature gauge went really high, then stop the car, and you're going to have to do some bleeding out of the radiator system. But I would start it up, leave the cap off so it's not pressurized, and see how the level on that overflow tank goes. Okay, I started it up, having a look here. Fan is spinning, belts are spinning. They all stayed on there. Okay, it started right up nice. It immediately sucked that about a half a gallon, I would say, out of that coolant tank. And the engine's cold now, so I know I'll have to top that off. I know it's not sucking air yet, it's not down that low, but I did lose some coolant out onto the ground, so. Let's look on the other side. Sorry. Bad camera shot too. There's my nice shiny new water pump. The hoses look okay for now. No leaks on the hoses. No leaks underneath. Let's see. So Froggy's going to wrap it up. I'll just top off that coolant. I hope this helped you guys and gals out. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will answer them. I answer all my comments. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up or a like. If you want more from Froggy, subscribe to my channel. I'll put a subscribe button up there for your convenience. I do this all for you guys and gals, so let me know what you think. Anyway, Froggy out. Bye-bye.